gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's August the 26th, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our growingly popular managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, presented as always by LifeWallet, where the time is now to pay homage to Matt Shodell's greatness and take charge of your personal health. And Matt Shodell, you have done it again, my man. You are controlling the internet. Yesterday, you were positive, Matt, on the demand of the fans who gave you the 300 likes that you requested. Yesterday, you requested 300 likes to go back to being negative, Matt, and here we are. They came through for you. So what do thou say for yourself?
Wow, that's a heck of an intro. I'd like to, all the people who enjoy me being miserable, they apparently won't let me be happy. They want me to be miserable. So actually, I wrote a speech for them. Hold on, I have it on my computer. All right, here it is. Thank you. That was my speech. I'm done. I'm done. I'm back to being miserable. It is what it is. I don't know what people want from me, man. Some people, some people liked it. I think, I don't know. Some people must have liked it when I was positive. I don't know why people want me to be negative. Like, why do people want me? Who wants somebody to be negative and miserable? Who wants that? Apparently, 300 or so people just thoroughly enjoy watching somebody be negative and miserable all the time.
Well, I'm just looking through some of the comments on our YouTube channel. Andy Mays Day says, it's not negativity, Matt. It's honesty that you give us. Just keep up with your honesty and your sense of humor. Premier PC Solution says, I'm with Matt. KG Kane.
You know what the definition of negativity is, Gary?
What's that?
Well, let me read it. The definition of negativity is being a Miami Hurricanes fan for the last 20 years. That's the definition. That's where this comes from. This is not just some natural phenomena that my genetic pool has a bunch of negative people. I mean, my wife and I joke all the time, like, my son's the happiest person on earth. I mean, something horrible could happen and he'll still think it's great. But if you've been a Hurricane fan for 20 years, I don't understand. Like, I literally don't understand people who have been positive about the Miami Hurricanes program for the last 20 years, every year thinking, this is the year. This is the year. And you keep getting suckered in. Mark Rick's the coach. This is the year. Randy Shannon's the coach. This is the year. Al Golden's the coach. We finally have hit the golden era. And now Mario Cristobal's the coach. Like, I tell people, I think it's going to be great, but I also tell people I'll believe it when I see it because I've been conditioned.
The time is now, baby.
I've been conditioned. It's like Stockholm
John
syndrome.
Ruiz has it right. The time is now.
It's like Stockholm syndrome. I've been taken prisoner by the Miami Hurricanes, aura for the last 20 years that I've covered the team. And I told you guys the first year I covered the team was fully covered the team was in 2001. I was at the Rose Bowl. I was like, this is going to be the greatest job ever. I think we wrote a book that year, right? About the rings, and figured there'd be a lot more books we'd be writing about championships and things like that. And instead, I'm covering, I literally was standing probably 10 feet from the tunnel where they were swinging their helmets at the Peach Bowl. I'm like Forrest Gump, I was spit on by Kellen Winslow in the effing soldier rant. I was 10 feet from the swinging helmets in the Peach Bowl. And by the way, a funny story from the Peach Bowl, right? So that was really the beginning of the end with the Peach Bowl. You know what I'm talking about, right, Gary? The LSU Peach Bowl game, right?
Oh, my God.
Whatever it was, 46.
Do I remember that night?
Okay, so that was really the beginning of the end. But the funny story, not that any of that was funny, so they're swinging helmets inside the tunnel, and I mean, I was right there watching because the media's allowed on the field the last few minutes, and I just happened to be in the wrong place at the right time. I don't know, or the right place at the wrong time. And then the media immediately they go into damage control mode, right? And they cordon off the media, and it's a circular underground area, as it is in most arenas or stadiums, underneath the stadium, underneath the stands, where basically the players go in the locker room and in the tunnel. So they have police. They literally put police right here. And the media is all gathered right here, right? And George Million, who was a good friend of mine and a longtime Miami Hurricanes reporter, a very good reporter from the Palm Beach.
Wow, you remember this in this kind of detail. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm like a savant when it comes to weird stuff. And George, who they put on the news beat for some reason, and he enjoyed covering crime because he said it wasn't so different from covering the Miami Hurricanes back when he started the beat. He said that. So we're here. I'm trying to get the cameras awkward. Okay, so we're all here waiting, and the Miami locker room is right there behind the police. Okay, so we're here, and George Million, the intrepid reporter, realizes it's a circle, so he just goes all the way around and comes back behind where all the police are. And he's waving to us behind the police line right outside the Miami locker room, listening to what he's told me later, they were just like screaming in there, like the coaches were having a fit. I mean, that was like, if you picture a meltdown of an entire program,
yes.
If you talk to a player who was in the locker room, they will tell you that was the meltdown of the Miami Hurricanes football program. If it's an individual person, they have a psychotic break and they wind up in the mental institution for the next 20 years. That was the version of the Miami Hurricanes winding up in the mental institution for the last 20 years. And finally, Mario Cristobal has found out that they have drugs that will cure mental problems. And he's got these little blue pills, and he is solving all of the Miami programs by throwing little blue pills at all the problems that Miami's had for the last 20 years. And that's what I believe. But again, I've been tricked before. Miami fans have been tricked before. So we'll see. We'll see if it's trickery.
Well, the Matt Shodell fan club is having its own mental breakdown. Michael Ross says that he was absolutely exhausted and worn out watching Matt do his positive thing.
I took no joy in that. Yesterday's half hour was the most miserable time of my life.
Well, Saint tend to be happy. He wants curmudgeon Matt for life. I mean, these comments on YouTube yesterday were just epic. Joel Hogu says, positive Matt was much better to watch than negative Matt. Ooh, how about that one?
That's what confuses me. I don't get that. I think he may have, you may want to get your brain checked out. Like I recommend, MRI, full checkup for that gentleman. There's a disconnect there between reality and what you're perceiving as reality, sir.
And then H.S. Mitchell summed it all up very simply. Matt, you are insane. And I agree with him. That is
very true.
All right.
Here's the problem. Do you know what the problem is, Gary?
What's that?
So if you think you're normal, right, a lot of times you'll think other people are insane. But when you start thinking that everyone else is a little nuts, it's probably you.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
And how many? I think a lot of people are nuts. So I think I probably am a little insane.
I got to bring some order now to this show because we are here to talk about the news of the day. And today we are introducing a new feature that we love, and it's called 100 Yards. And we have a great new staff writer by the name of Azubi Charles, who has taken charge of that 100-yard feature. And today we debut his first 100-yard walk, and it's with Nathaniel Ray Joseph. So I wanted to bring Azubi onto the show to join the circus, and we'll make it a three-ring circus here. Azubi, this is a dangerous turf that you're wandering into here. But welcome to your first appearance on Good Morning CaneSport since joining our staff. And man, that Ray interview really is great. And I think both you and I both are in agreement now that he's might be our favorite recruit of this recruiting class.
Oh, 100%. After having that experience with Ray walking the 100 yards, he's probably one of the most passionate kids I've, ever talked to so far. Just, his passion is love for Miami as a parent. His energy is always there, man. He's one of the coolest kids I've talked to this recruiting cycle, for sure.
And he was like so into it. And, this was Ray here, throwing up the U, getting ready to do the interview. But I actually clipped a little segment here just to show everybody they can watch the entire 100-yard walk
Okay, and I know it's a little bit away, but what are you most excited for when you get to University of Miami, man?
Oh man, just helping and just trying to bring back that culture that they already bringing back. But I just want to be there to just bring back kind of some of that swag and just turning you back up. Honestly, I just want to be that dynamic player and that special team guy that just take it to the house, be on my Devin Hester vibes, and just light the game up from different aspects instead of receiver and just do all I could do to help the team win and get back to the national championship.
Let me get rid of this picture, but I like his confidence, man. Like Devin Hester vibe. I mean, he's already he's shooting for Devin Hester now, which is a great thing. And he's got you've watched him play live here recently, and I don't know if he's it's not fair to say he's going to be the next Devin Hester, but he's a guy that clearly has some skills, Azubi.
Of course, yeah. After the catch, he's one step, he's gone. He's making people miss. I feel like he's got that same, skill set to maybe emulate a Devin Hester, but definitely one to look out for in Miami for the next 2 to 3 years once he gets there.
So the entire walk, this 100-yard walk, took 3 minutes and I think 7 seconds or something along those lines. Were you trying to pace yourself so you can get more questions in? Was that the idea?
Yeah, so when I was talking to him, I thought I could get some more questions off. But he's just so passionate. And, every question he just had such a, quick story about it. Like when I asked him about the nickname Ray Ray, he gave me that story and a couple other things. But he's just so passionate that he wants to give, his all, even if we're just talking about questions.
Because if he wanted to go 100 yards, he could probably do it in about 10 and a half seconds or something. I mean, he is that quick. But you were able to squeeze out a 3-minute plus interview walking 100 yards with Ray Ray. So great work. I think people are going to really, really, really enjoy watching that interview today. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about real quick is you also had a chance while you were at Edison to spend some time with Brandon Lowe. And for those of you out there that don't know who Brandon Lowe is, he's the up-and-coming guy at Miami Edison. They're not ready, just like we're not ready to compare Ray Ray to Devin Hester just yet. They're not ready to compare Brandon Lowe to Ray Ray just yet, but Luther Campbell, Azubi, just raves about this kid, and you had a chance to watch him live too. What were your impressions?
Yeah, so when I first got there at Edison, I'm seeing a kid just catch a 50-yard bomb with ease and stride. I just asked Luther, who is this guy? He's just telling me, hey, that's the guy that's next up here at Edison. And I'm like, where did this guy come from? He's on no one's radar or anything like that, but Luther's really high on this guy. After watching him at the practices and the games, I can see why he's, thinking so highly of the kid. He's a very, very good kid. Passes the eyeball test immediately, 6 foot, 180 pounds, strong hands, quick, all that good stuff. So definitely one to watch out for.
All right. Well, when we hired you, we didn't tell you that coming on the Matt Shodell, Barnum and Bailey this year, that this festival of happiness that we have every day was part of the job. But now that you've had the experience for a few minutes, what do you think?
Oh, I love it, man. I couldn't ask for anything else.
He's lying.
and the thousands of Matt Shodell fans, I'm sure the first thing you do every morning when you wake up is check out your Matt Shodell. Listen,
not that you asked me to even talk to Azubi, Gary, because apparently it's a one-on-one interview without me included. You tried to get rid of the horse in the background by squeezing Azubi into my horse picture. You dominated the first 7 minutes of the show. Listen. This was Azubi's moment. Yeah, well, I get to ask Azubi questions too, Gary. Go ahead. First, you try to get rid of my horse picture by squeezing my picture out and fitting Azubi in. Listen, here's my word of advice, Azubi, and this is what I would do, okay? If you start an interview, one of the 100-yard interviews, which it was great, by the way, it really was great, but there's going to be some recruits you're going to do this with that maybe aren't as good as Ray Ray. And what I recommend is, if they're really not very good, just start walking faster and then break into a slow trot and then sprint the last 20 yards, and then we'll know, I think that's what I would do. That would be very entertaining and fans will understand, man, this guy is just not a good interview. And I actually like, personally, saying it's 100 yards is a misnomer because you started in one end zone, you wound up at the end of the other end zone, and you stood there for a few seconds. So it was 110 yards plus an extra 10 seconds. I would rename it, Gary. You don't want fans being upset that you're lying about what you're calling this thing. It's 100 yards plus an extra 10 seconds segment with Ray Ray and Azubi. That's what you should rename it on YouTube, please. Be real. Don't be fake, Gary.
What are we gonna do with this guy, Azubi? I just don't know, man.
It was a great interview.
Like,
everybody should watch it. It really was. It really was.
It's like this growing fan club is getting to his head.
There's no fan club. These people do not like me. Like, what don't you understand? Do you not read the comments, Gary? They hate me. They literally hate me.
I mean, Dante Johnson. I missed the old curmudgeon Matt. Like,
you still don't understand what the thumbs up yesterday meant, Gary. The thumbs up was for people who want me to be miserable. Those were the 300 thumbs up. I literally said, only give a thumbs up, not if you like the show. If you want me to be miserable, give a thumbs up. And 300 plus people, like the most we've ever had, give thumbs up, gave thumbs up on that particular day. Just so I can be miserable.
The Lacey Howard says, I hate to see my Matt. He calls you my Matt. You're his Matt. I hate to see my Matt suffer like this being positive. Sorry, bro. I mean, this is like a whole like cultural phenomenon that you've created that now Azubi gets to be part of as the newest member of our staff, joining Good Morning CaneSport here to talk about his story. And I don't even know how to describe it anymore.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I see a bunch of mouths moving and words coming out, but there was a question at the end that I don't even know what you're asking. What was that? Azubi, did you understand a word he just said? What's he asking?
Picked up a couple things, yeah.
Hey, it's a good thing, Gary, you're paying his check. Because if you weren't paying his check, he'd be like, yeah, that was nonsense. He'd be like, I have no idea what Gary was talking about.
All right, Azubi, we're going to let you go get on with your day, and I'm going to try to get through the rest of this show with Matt. But everybody, make sure you check out Azubi's 100-yard walk with Nathaniel Joseph and his story that will be on the website tomorrow on Brandon Lowe, the up-and-coming receiver at Miami Edison that we think you're going to be hearing a lot more about. All right, Azubi, we'll see you next time, man.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Later.
Right. Azubi Charles, man, the new member of our team, doing a great job. Hope you're enjoying.
Future superstar.
Future superstar for sure.
And listen, hopefully he replaces me someday on Good Morning CaneSport, and I could be miserable by myself instead of in front of everybody.
He did a pretty good job there, Matt. You definitely have something to worry about there.
Listen, Azubi is he's very happy. He's a very happy person. So, you and he doing this show, it would just be all flowers and clouds and sunshine. I don't know if I couldn't watch that. I would turn that off right away.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't quit once he realizes what he really got himself into here. But anyway, yeah, you guys will enjoy, seriously, that 100-yard walk with Ray is just phenomenal stuff. So that's on the website today, and make sure you take a look at that. All right, let's talk about some of the other things that we have on the site this morning. Well, we have our weekly update on Emery Williams. He added another offer this week. Now Cal is after him. So we said, another one. So we better give him a call and see. Hopefully he gets that NIL deal I've been talking about.
Well, just to be clear, I did give him a call, but he is not doing interviews. So like I did last month, I had to go to a source close to his school and get the intel on what's going on with him, which it's interesting because back in the day, recruits would talk to you and sort of share information, and they understand. And I tell recruits, when we first reach out to a recruit, whether it's in the class of 2024 or beyond, I'll make it clear to them, we're here for you. This is about you. We're here to, we're not here to say bad things about you. Like, we're here just to basically present your story as you go through the recruiting process. And it's just you telling your story. What I do, at least I can't speak for other people. What I do, I'm not there to put my own inflection on what people are doing. And it's interesting because I've had a lot of recruits more recently than not say that they've been misquoted and misinterpreted in what they're saying. A lot of recruits will say to me, for instance, things like, Miami's my top school. And then I'll follow up and say, well, are there other schools that are tied with Miami as your top school? And they'll be like, yeah, there's 5 other schools. Whereas if I hadn't asked that, and maybe some other people don't, the headline is Miami is the team to beat for so-and-so. And they feel like they were misquoted because they don't understand when they say something like that, how it's perceived sometimes. And I can't tell you how many student athletes do that. And my favorite part of talking to recruits is they always call me coach. Hey, coach. Hey, coach. And I always have to tell them, listen, just to be clear, because I want you to understand, I am a reporter. They're like, yes, coach. This is what they call every adult a coach because that's what they're used to.
A dozen film reels sent to us on Twitter every single day. Everybody's convinced that we're on the staff, that we're the recruiting evaluators for Miami, and they send us their highlight tapes to do their evaluation.
I've had recruits commit to me. They'll call me. I'll be like, "Hey, what's up, so and so?" And he'll be like, "I'm committing to Miami." I'll be like, "Well, that's great, but I'm a reporter. You remember? Like, you may want to tell the coaches." And like, "Oh yeah, okay." I mean, there's some funny stories I could tell. But anyway, there was something. Oh yeah, Emery Williams.
So yes.
Yeah, so he's obviously committed, and so I talked to someone close to his situation. He got an offer from Cal this week. FSU is still chasing him hard. There was some reports. I didn't report this. We reported Auburn offered him. Someone else reported that he was taking an official visit to Auburn. My source says no, he was never taking an official visit to Auburn. He will not be taking an official visit to Auburn. So listen,
how about FSU?
FSU, the source doesn't really want to get into that. So that, to me, reading between the lines, I think it's an FSU Miami battle. I think if FSU really, and it seems they want him, I don't know if they've officially offered him. I can't really pull that information. I don't know if my source even knows, whatever. But if and when FSU offers him and promises whatever, and maybe it's about an NIL deal. I don't know those details. But if push comes to shove, listen, FSU is the team to watch when it comes to Emery Williams, in my opinion. This is not what the source said. I think at the end of the day, if it's not FSU, it'll be Miami. And if it's not Miami, it'll be FSU. And I don't think there's going to be anywhere else he'll wind up going. That's just that's my perception. So we'll see.
All right. Well, you guys will enjoy keeping up to date with Emery Williams and his goings on. All right. We have a few more things to talk about today. But first, let's hear from our friends at LifeWallet.
I will be your shield in the fiercest battle. I'll defend you.
Yeah.
Hey, my name is Cleveland Reed, and I play offensive line, and my job is to protect.
Wait a minute. We can't play that commercial anymore.
Wow.
Cleveland Reed's not on the team anymore. We got to delete that one from the queue. All right, that one's gone. So let's try this again. Let's hear from our friends at LifeWallet, hopefully with guys that are still on the team.
We here at LifeWallet take security very seriously. Our data security team is working constantly to make sure that your data is not accessed by anybody who you don't authorize.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm
Excuse me, sir. Thank you.
I have a problem with CC, and he's thinking about it, and I'll be talking to CC. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We use leading technology standards like biometric data to make sure that only you have access to your data and your identity is protected. LifeWallet gives you access to your entire medical history and information at the touch of your finger, so that it can save you time and can save your life.
Data transfer complete.
You do know Cleveland Reed was also in that one, right? Like, you are aware of that?
I give up, man.
Cleveland Reed is the LifeWallet superstar. This is why he left the Miami Hurricanes, to concentrate on his commercial career, filming for John Ruiz.
He was a part of that opening scene, huh? I wasn't looking this time. God, that means we got to get rid of that commercial.
I knew right when you put it up.
I don't know, man. I'm not kidding.
That commercial was being filmed. I was sitting about 10 feet away on a giant stack of ginger beer. Remember?
Yeah,
so, I knew he was in it the second you played it.
I like that one though. I'm not deleting that one. We still got to play that one every now and then. Okay. But anyway, so a couple more things on the website today, just for you guys to sink your teeth into. We've got interviews with Mario Cristobal and Tyler Van Dyke from after yesterday's practice. Make sure you read those. The non-conference basketball schedule came out, so we've got a story on that. And then we also have a update with Logan Sagapolu. And Matt, this has got to be the most anticipated story that we've had at CaneSport.com in a long time, my man, because Logan Sagapolu kept the media waiting for this interview for an hour and a half, 90 minutes. Everybody was standing there waiting for Logan to come talk to the media. A lot of people left, quite honestly. We won't name names. Matt was there for CaneSport. He stayed the duration because CaneSport doesn't bail on anything, okay? We are in this thing start to finish. And Matt stood there for an hour and a half with a smile on his face because he was reveling in all the love that he was getting on the YouTube comments and from people walking by that watch Good Morning CaneSport and love Matt. And that kept him going for 90 minutes while, what was Logan doing, Matt?
So we got 3 guys initially, and then they had some workout that they had to go do, some quick workout. They said the SID said it was going to be quick. Okay, it was not quick, and there was a couple of things that happened. When you have an hour and a half free, I mean, reporters tend to go a little crazy because, as you saw from the beginning of the segment, we're a little crazy in the first place. So after about an hour, they have a podium or a lectern. I don't know. What's the difference between a podium and a lectern, Gary? You're the expert on that. You can fill people in later. So
maybe a lectern doesn't have as bulky of a base.
It was a rhetorical question. I didn't want you to answer it. So I was standing behind this thing, and I said, "Listen, guys." I said, "Listen, we've been here for an hour. I am going to pretend I am Logan Sagapolu. You keep saying it wrong, Sagapolu, and just ask me questions." So Susan Miller-Dadian, of course, the intrepid Miami Herald reporter, immediately goes right along with it and says, I swear to God, this is her question. How much do you squat? and to which I don't know why I said this, but I responded, I only squat small children and animals. And then I think there was several more questions. What was the next question? They kept asking me questions like I actually was Logan Sagapolu. And, eventually they grew tired of asking questions. And, then we went into our respective corners, waited another 20 minutes. Then finally, one of the assistant SIDs came out, who I shall not name. And I said, where the hell is name redacted? Because I don't want to name him either, but he's the main football SID. And, we're all sitting here like going crazy, waiting for Logan, eating the turf because we haven't eaten since breakfast and it's now 1:30 in the afternoon. To which this assistant SID, who shall not be named, says to me, well, I don't have my phone. He never explained to me where his phone was. But if you want, you can text the main SID guy and find out what's going on. So I ignored that for a few minutes, and then I assumed he was lying about not having his phone and just pretty much didn't want to do anything. But then he came up to me and said, did you text name redacted? And I said, no, but I will do it now. And I will read you. This is exactly what I texted, by the way, Gary. Maybe I shouldn't read this, but I don't care anymore. This is true. Name redacted. Uh-oh. And I told Alex.
Wait, before you
I just said his name. I told you.
Before you read this, we're not going to get banned from practice or press conferences by reading this, right?
I don't know. You could always delete this from the show if it's too disturbing for the viewership. Anyway, so he didn't have his phone, and I'm texting on his behalf is what's in my mind. So I write this text, name redacted. This is, I already said it's Alex. So this is Alex. He's the assistant SID. I said, this is Alex. I said, F you, but I spelled it out. And then I said, and where the hell is that offensive line dude? And then I showed it. And this is true. I have it on my phone. I could show it, except there's a curse word in it. And then I showed it to Alex. And I said, is it okay if I send this to the main SID guy? Because it says it's from you. And Alex says, absolutely send it. So I sent it. And guess what, Gary? Not 2 minutes later, the main SID is there. He raised that metal barricade, and dun, 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 dun. Logan Sagapolu was behind it. And he'd probably been standing there for an hour waiting for this main SID guy to get a text from me telling him to F off and give us our frickin' final interview so we could all go home and have some lunch. And then about, I sent that at, so I can't tell when they send the ha-ha, but the main SID guy at some point later in the afternoon responded to my joyous text with, maybe I can block the part, and it just said ha ha. Oh, you can't even see it on there. It just said,
ha, we'll take your word for it.
Ha ha. I don't know. It said ha ha. So that's a true story. I mean, that's what I actually did that. I probably should not have. I slightly regret it, but not so much because we did get Logan Sagapolu a minute later.
Do you think that they just forgot that he had a media interview to do?
Let me tell you, this is a running joke with the media. It's happened twice now. I don't know if I should say this either, but I don't care anymore, okay? I just don't care anymore. We are a group of 8 to 10 media people that just, we're the ones who show up all the time. And we're the ones who will show up when we can't watch practice and only have 4 players who are not, premier guys, sorry guys, but like you're not Tyler Van Dyke, you're not whoever, like, that's the guys everyone shows up for, right? The camera people. So it's just 8 to 10 non-camera people is what I'm trying to say.
We are there no matter who is there.
Yeah. So this is the second time it's happened where Mario Cristobal, we get a list of who we're getting that next day. They send it out sometime between 7 to 9 p.m. the night before because, we have no plans ever. So they don't have to give us any advance notice whatsoever. It's fine. I don't need a haircut because I have no hair. I don't need to go to the spa because I don't like people touching me. True story. So, whatever. I don't care. So anyway, twice now, Mario Cristobal has not been on the list, yet magically he comes off the practice field and stands right outside the lectern waiting to be ushered behind the lectern by the main SID guy who I sent that really nice text message to the other day. And both times we see the main SID guy go up to Mr. Cristobal and you can't hear what he's saying, but he looks at Mr. Cristobal and goes like this. And then Mr. Cristobal immediately turns and walks and goes back up into the upper echelon offices of the IPF. And we all say to the magical media man,
you can't just let him talk.
It would have been very nice. He was right here, sir. He seemed ready to talk to us, sir. But what happened? I know he wasn't on the list, but he thought he was on the list, which seems good enough for us because we would love to talk to him whenever possible. To which the main SID guy basically took 2 of the main words out of my text. That's essentially what he said to us in response. So, it is what it is. These are all true stories. By the way, you can't make this up. These are true. This is what has actually been happening.
You guys are getting a little glimpse into our world, and
this is the world. People wonder why I'm miserable. Okay, this is my world.
But it's entertaining as hell. Now you're seeing why I've survived this for more than 40 years. I mean, it's
because you send me out to these availabilities. That's why you've survived. Now we got a Zuby. Zuby's going from now on. I'm done.
All right, well, that's going to do it for today's Good Morning CaneSport. As always, we thank you for starting your day with us and putting up with all this. Same drill as always. Hit your like button. Today, it won't be in honor of Matt Shodell, but it does.
I'm done with being. Hey, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm just back to me. Back to me. Back to me. Everyone can just tune out of the show, man, because I don't care. I'm done. I'm back.
The like button and the subscribe button do help us with the YouTube algorithms, or however they program them or whatever. So if you can hit those, we really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet to CaneSport.com, your subscriptions allow us to do every single thing that we do. Please go to CaneSport.com, get your subscription. The first year will be $1. Thank you to On3 for that, to agreeing to that. Of course, we weren't coming if they didn't, but they did. And beyond that, just have a great weekend. And I guess we'll see you guys on this show on Monday on the website all weekend. Have a great day, everybody.